Uh, what's going on Facebook, YouTube? First of all, let me go to the Facebook page and make sure that that I don't have it set to private because I won't be able to see any chats in there if I have it set to private. Uh, please give me a second. All right, check one, two, one, two. Okay, so I'm there. All right, everybody, welcome to the stream. I want y'all to tell me if I'm wrong or not, right? So, like the title says, I had to turn down $2,000, a little over $2,000, $2,180 to be exact, because of my principles. Let me start by saying that when I offer to do a service for anybody, it's done professionally. Now, you may see like these rants and stuff like that on Facebook and YouTube, but when I do stuff professionally, I try to give it my all, and I do give it my all. You have to think about this, right? I'm a one person production company. The equipment that I have is top notch, is on the pro level. I have enough equipment to open up two major big studios, right? Three big major streaming studios where I can rent out a building and have three different major studios and rent three studios out either to record or live stream. And you can get up to four cameras into two studios, and you can get up to eight cameras in one studio, right? So, um, because I have three ATEM switches, I have the first Blackmagic ATEM switcher, the rack mount. Then I have the ATEM switcher mini pro, and then I have the ISO that gives you eight different putouts. Now I can accept BNC cameras, or I can accept HDI SDI cameras. I mean SDI or HDMI cameras. And I can live stream your event to multiple platforms like TikTok, um, Facebook, YouTube. Right now, the way I'm streaming on YouTube and I'm streaming on Facebook simultaneously, right? I don't have enough TikTok followers, so for therefore the Gamer Show will not be able to stream on TikTok, not yet, right? So this is the thing. I had to turn down $2,180 with a $500 deposit that I gave back, and I did free work for. Gave this lady back her $500 deposit after I did work that exceeded over $500. So mind you, I retrieved this customer in January, right? So she wanted all these services done. I explained to her everything that I did as far as video production and animation services, right? And she was excited about the animation services. And then when I was telling her, I have my 3D printers, I have two resin 4K printers that if I scan you, I can get detailed scans. And I put that inside of a software and I can animate you or I can print you out, you know. Um, so what I was going to do, and I also have a laser engraver, right? So these are some of the services that some of y'all have not seen, but some of y'all know that I have. I just haven't posted a lot of work that I've done here on YouTube because a lot of customers want their privacy. They don't want stuff being shown out. But I do record a snippet of it and keep it in my portfolio, right? So I've done weddings, I've done sporting events, I've done live streams, I have done streaming for customers, live videos, right? But there gets to a point in time where sometimes when I'm hired by a customer, I'm rushed, and since I'm being rushed, I might miss a step. Something may turn out bad, and that happened in a couple of cases, right? Because I'm a one man show, right? I do it all. I do the video production, I do the audio production, and I also do the lighting, and then I do the editing. So, and then I'm the DP, and I'm everything all in one. What it takes to make these videos professionally, it takes a lot of work, and one person just doing that. You know what I'm saying? When I do this professionally, when I do the gaming show, is usually just me and Mike. And when we were in studio recording, that was simple because we just went straight through. I didn't edit anything out. I just put my graphics in there, boom, and that was it. So didn't need any help. When me and Mike did like a location, of course, my man's helped me out. We did one with Eric with the Crown Royal thing, and then we did a movie review. I forgot what it was, and actually, his wife came out, and his wife helped me out, right? So, like, I appreciate that. But when I do these big events, I usually do them by myself. If it gets too much for me, then I'll ask for help and I'll hire help. You know, I'll go through it briefly what I need them to do. And you know what I'm saying? That's it. This one was going to be a big payday for me. I had to hire somebody else to do some of the work, right? As far as the camera work. So let me break this down to you what I charge this customer. Okay. So for 4 hours, I charge $75 an hour. And that's for one camera. For one camera, it's not manned, right? Mind you, if I'm recording, I'm staying behind the camera and I'm just getting my footage. This particular incident, she wanted to stream to 3 different major platforms. That was TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. She wanted to stream multi-stream on all of those. So I said, okay, fine. So for that multi-stream, I'm just charging $100. That means I have to be at my ATEM switcher in order to switch between camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, or camera 4. So I had a full-fledged production going on. Um, then after that, hold on. And then let me. Okay. Um, so 4 hours equals $300. Plus, with a she needed a Roman camera, so that that $75 turned into um an extra $10 an hour, right? Because I have to pay this person that's roaming the camera, right? or I have to pay the person to sit at the production desk. And when you're sitting at the production desk with the ATEM switcher, you're using your judgment to see what's the best camera angles. And then I had it where I had, the headpieces where I can talk to the cameraman, or the cameraman can talk to me. So I can say, okay, move to the left and pan in slowly so I can get that. You know what I'm saying? So I have a real TV production streaming studio setup. I do this professionally, right? So again, I'm sorry, but 4 hours for $75 for an additional 4 hours of an additional $10, which makes it $40, which turns the 300 into $340. Okay. Then next was the wedding reception. She wanted me to do the wedding reception. Said fine, right? That's another $340. All right. Which, if you're doing your math, now we're at a total of $680. That's for me streaming live the wedding and streaming the reception. Then she wanted additional cameras. Now, my additional cameras, I charge $50 for them, right? I charge you an additional $50 for every camera that I have to set up. So to me, that's fair enough because I'm bringing out this expensive equipment. And mind y'all, I have Black Magic production equipment. If you look up blackmagic.com, these cameras are not cheap. They are professional cameras. They're like the poor man's red camera. So if you don't know what a red camera is, when you go to the movies and stuff like that, a lot of these videos are shot with red cameras. The brand is called Red, and they're just red cameras. But a lot of videos are also shot with iPhones. They're shot with Blackmagic cameras. I like Blackmagic cameras for the quality that I get out of it. I'm not giving you no janky stuff, right? So I'm giving you top quality visuals up to 6K, up to 6K resolution, right? Then she wanted three additional cameras for the wedding. So she had a 4 camera setup. The first camera is free. I don't charge you for the camera. I just charge you for the time for the streaming time or the recording time. For the reception, she just wanted 2 cameras. Now this is after we talked on the phone. Mind you, this happened in January, if I didn't say that. This happened in January. We talked on the phone for maybe an hour or so, and I'm sending her links to the YouTube page to show her some of my private videos of animation and some of my private videos of some of the work that I've done. Like I said, a lot of customers don't want their stuff out on the internet. I let them send it out, right? I don't own the rights to that, to do that. They do. So she wanted 2 additional cameras for the wedding reception, which that comes up, if you're doing the math, that's $100, right? That's on top of the filming, right? Then she wanted to rent my VR headset. Now I have a VR headset. At that time, it was the Meta 2, but I upgraded and got the Meta 3. So I was going to use that. Both of them are good headsets. And I have this roller coaster game that I have, and everybody seems to love it, right? You sit in the chair and you hear the sounds and stuff like that, and it makes you look like you're on a real roller coaster, right? And a lot of people freaked out about that. I had there's a video of a friend. She was a good friend of mine. I did her birthday party, and I had people to do that. I actually had my mother. Um, there's a video of her freaking out riding it, so it's really realistic. Um, And then she wanted to rent out my 360 photo booth. All right. Um, Now everybody knows what a 360 photo booth is, right? If you don't know, there's a platform that you sit on, there's a pole that you attach either your iPhone or a camera to, and it spins around and it captures you, right? Um, and at that time, I didn't have a 360. Um, I didn't have a 360, but I was going to order it. I was in the process of ordering the 360, and I was going to have it. So that by that time, by December, her wedding is in December. So by the time December came, I would have had enough um, experience with it, right? So I included that in the charge, right? Then she, I showed her an animation video that I did, right? It was something like real simple, but it took me a long time to do that animation, right? She wanted that. She wanted that done. I said, okay, I'll charge you. I'll put that in the charge as well. Mind you, this is this is before I knew how to work the software that I work now. And mind you, if she wanted 10 seconds of animation, and when you're doing animation, you get charged. I'm talking about a minute of animation will cost you between $10,000 to $20,000. You can, I'm not making this stuff up. You can look it up yourself because animation is so tedious. It is so tedious to do. If you're doing it, depending on what type of software that you're doing it with, it is very, very tedious. And she wanted Pixar type animation. So I was willing to do that. At that time, as I do with everything, I study, I go to YouTube University, I figure it out, I do a couple of test runs, and then you know what I'm saying, I send it out there to the world to say, hey, look, this is what I can do. Mind you, I didn't do any type of Pixar type animation yet. This is what she wanted, but I am more capable of doing anything. Okay. And where she went also, she wanted streamed live to the internet. Like I said, she wanted it three different platforms. She wanted a TikTok, um, she wanted the Facebook, and she wanted the YouTube. Then I have an engraver, right? I have a total of three different 3D printers. One is filament. That's what I use to make objects and stuff like that. And I have two resin 4K 3D printers, right? And those are exact to the T. 4K resolution. I can scan your face and I can make a model out of it, right? And we were talking like wedding cakes and stuff like that. And she was like, well, I want to put the ornament on top of the wedding cake. Can you do that? I was like, yeah, I can do that. I would just need to scan your face. I need to scan you and your husband's face. And I would need to scan y'all in a pose. And I can manipulate the clothes and make it look like a wedding dress. And I can make it look like he was in a tuxedo. And all this stuff would have been painted, right? So I call him my little brother because we went we've I've known him for a long time. We grew up together. I was going to send the stuff to him to get painted because he does 3D printing, filament painting. Whatever he was going to charge me, I was going to pay for that because he does a excellent job. You ought to see some of the 3D prints that this guy does. Jonathan, right? My little brother. He does a excellent job with these 3D prints. That's the guy that got me into doing the resin printing because when I saw his 3D prints versus my filament prints, I had to get a 3D printer. All this stuff was going to be getting anyway down the line because I had so much time to from January to December. I had time to get the stuff so I can give it to my customer, right? and I would have learned it. It don't take me long to learn the stuff. Like I said, I didn't have the 3D 60 photo booth yet. I have it now. I didn't have the 3D printers, the resin printers, but I do have them now. I didn't have the engravers, but I do have the engraver now, right? So, and then I have the roller, so I can put like a cup or glass on it, and it engrave whatever design that I create, right? With that, speaking about engraving, my wedding gift to them was going to be two flute wine glasses with some type of memorial capture and message on it. And I was going to hand that to them at the wedding reception while they're sitting down. You know what I'm saying? Or it would have been on their table. That was something I was going to surprise them with, right? Just to show my appreciation for hiring me with the services. Now, after all that I had said to her, this is what she decided to do. She decided to do 4 hours of of the wedding with one camera guy. She decided to do 4 hours of wedding reception with one camera guy. She decided to do three additional cameras for the wedding. She decided to do two additional cameras for the reception. She wanted the 360 photo booth. She wanted the VR headset. She wanted 10 seconds of animation. And she wanted it live streamed, right? So that means I had to go from DC to Maryland. Now it was a church in DC or some venue in DC or whatever it was, and then it was Blue Dolphin for the wedding reception. So I had to talk and get a relationship with the guy that owned Blue Dolphin because he has a facility that he rents that's downstairs. And I had to set it up where the guy that I hired, and I would have had to hire a U-Haul truck to put my stuff in so he can get there early that morning and load the stuff in there. So me, like I said, I did all this stuff for this lady. I told her, okay, well, you're going to need to make a deposit for that because there's a lot of work that needs to go in to to do this. After I gave her the calls, right? So let me follow the timeline. Told her how much it was. So I said, okay, you're looking a little over $2,000. And then I calculated it. I was like, okay, it's going to be exactly $2,180 for everything that you want. She was like, well, let me get back to you and I'll let you know because I still have to find a DJ and a caterer. I said, no problem. I said, I can put that together in a package for you too. I know a couple of DJs and I know some people that do catering. I was like, what do you want with the cater? How many people are you trying to feed? Right. So I'm taking all the information down to uh to get what she wanted for um the caterer, and I'm calling a couple of people that I know that DJ to see how much they charge. And it was so much in the future where they didn't really know. They gave me about like a roundabout thing for it, right? So I said, let me get back to you on that. Um, because I don't know how much these people charge. Because me and her was just having a conversation. Don't know how much it's going to charge for an additional. But what I'm charging you for what everything that you want is the $2,180. You know, there's going to be an additional cost for that for a caterer. Of she also wanted a wedding photographer, and a DJ, right? She asked me, did I do wedding photography? I said, I do photography, but it's not on a wedding photography type level. There's a difference between me being a photographer and being a wedding photographer, right? I have done parties where they hired me to be a photographer, right? But for a wedding, it is a different beast. Now I can be your photographer and I can give you nice photos, but I'm not as good as a photographer as I am a videographer and a production person and a music producer. Okay, I have a lot of hats that I wear when I do stuff for clients, right? So I'm like, okay, look, I'll check into it, but this is the price for that. She was like, okay, let me get back to you and this, that, and the third. She calls me back maybe like a week or so later. Mind you, this is in January. And she said, okay, I talked it over with my fiance, and he said that's okay. Now, what I imagine that she did, which I encourage everybody to do, she went and she price matched, see how much everybody else was charging. And then I guess I was the cheapest. Let me put these quotes in, the cheapest person to hire, right? So I'm like, okay. I said, okay, with everything that needs to be done, I will need a $500 deposit. That's to secure your date. And there's a couple of things that I need to do for the stuff that you're asking for. I need to take 3D shots of your face, of you and your husband's face. And I need to do, there was something else that I need to do. So I got a 3D scanner, like I said, that can scan your face. And I put that inside of the software and I can 3D print it out. Or I can animate it and make it talk, make it dance, put you on a different body, and do all this other stuff. And I was going to get a motion capturing suit, and that would have went to the cause. And I was just going to motion capture myself doing things and put that in as a plugin in the software that I have. Now I would have did a running thing, I would have did a posing thing, but if I needed female movements, the suit would have been good enough for a female to wear, so I can capture all of that. That was over the price that for the $500, well over that, right? So in this deal, I wasn't going to take home. That wasn't going to be a profit. 2,800, $180 was not going to be a profit for me, right? I'm probably looking at a profit of like maybe a little over $1,500 for everything that I have to pay out, because of course I have to pay this person to run the wedding reception, and I had to pay the person to run the um, the wedding reception and the wedding. So actually, it was two people I had to pay because I needed one there at the wedding, and I needed one there at the reception. So I don't know how I was going to finesse it. I was going to try to pack up the equipment as quick as I can and hurry up and get to the second spot, right? Because after the wedding, they were going to take pictures, and that would have been time enough for me to load the truck and stuff like that. But I needed people there just in case they come early, right? So I was looking at shelling out some money because I couldn't do that all by myself. So a couple of months go past, and this just happened um yesterday when this lady gave me a call. So she gave me a call and she said, hey, I think I'm gonna have to scale back. Mind you, we've been in contact, and she never said anything about needing a caterer or wedding photographer or DJ. because I did the research. But if the customer doesn't reach out to me, I'm figuring you had already found that stuff. So then she comes back. We talk on the phone. She says, um, you know, I think I'm going to have to scale it down because I talked to my mother-in-law and she said it was kind of pricey for what you're charging. And um, I got to pay the DJ and I got to pay the caterer and I got to pay a photographer. I said, okay, that's fine, but you hired me to do this, some of this stuff, and I've already been in the wheels of motion and getting things for your event, and I've already started. You know, um, first I had to scan her face, but now with the software that I have, I don't really need to scan your face. I just need a front picture, a quarter turn, and then a full half turn, a back head shot, and from the top, right? And usually when I ask a customer to do this, I ask them to put like on a scarf or one of those black type scullies, because I don't need the hair. I don't need to capture your hair. Only thing I need to do is capture your face, the sides, the quarter turns, and then the back. That's all I need. And I would generate the rest. And she says that she need all this stuff done. She need to pay this person and that person. Like, okay, what about what you're asking me to do? Right? She was like, well, can I just scale back a little bit? I said, okay, fine. Right? Mind you, at this point, I've done well over $500 worth of work for this lady. She scales back doing a video for her. And I knew something was going to be, I knew this was going to start getting out of hand when she started texting me and emailing me about changes that she wanted done, right? Because she looked at some of my videos, and even with, like, making little simple videos like this, she started getting more ideas. I know she was going on a cruise and she was doing all this other stuff with her fiance. She was like, well, um I want to capture some moments on the cruise and I want to capture some moments on this and when we go out to eat. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I was like, you know what you can do? You can use your phone and capture those videos and you can send them to me. She was like, well, can you come out and do that? I'm like, okay, I didn't really budget and for me coming out for you going to, your restaurants or eating, or you going out on dates and stuff like that. I didn't put that in that contract that I gave you. So you're you're asking to scale back, but you're going to probably be at the same total that I gave you before. Um if she said, okay, I'll pay for your cruise ticket and you could come, yeah, I already jumped on that ASAP, right? Yeah, you could, yeah, you paying for my cruise ticket? Sure, I'll come on the cruise and videotape y'all and all that other stuff. But she didn't want that. Now she wants me to go in my pocket, pull out money for gas, come out there and sit up there and watch them go on dates and stuff like that and watch them eat and stuff like that. That's something that's additional that I didn't charge for, right? You want me, anytime I come out and I bring my cameras out, that is a charge. I have to charge you for that. That is not something that's free. I go out and I charge you for that. Whether it be an hour, whether it be 30 minutes, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I have to get paid for that because I'm bringing out equipment that's subject to get damaged, stolen, or whatever. Plus, gas is not free. I can ride my electric scooter, but where I live in the boonies. I have to go back out into. It's like I have to go in town for all of my customers, right? So me leaving my house to take my film equipment out to film you, it costs. All right, I'm micing you up. I'm getting professional, good, clean sound audio. It's not muffled like if you're recording somebody with an iPhone. Okay, I mean you can record somebody with an iPhone, and you can use that audio as scrub audio, and then you have a lapel mic or you have a shotgun mic over them to catch clear audio, and then that's how you beat that. So she wanted all this stuff done at the beginning, and I'm like, I can't, because at that time at the job that I was working, I wasn't really free to do that anyway. Because by the time I get off, I'm tired. I'm getting off at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and sometimes I can't make it. And on the weekends, I'm pretty much tired from working all week, right? And you know, for me to go out to do that, I have to charge you point blank. So this is throwing like January, February, March. March is when she started to making it's a little bit before that, but March is when she started to start making like bigger demands, right? And I'm putting this stuff in the calculator, and I'm like, okay, I should be charging her this. Okay, I'll charge you since I quoted you a price. I'll go ahead and keep that price, but I'll just discount you for what that is, and you can pay me at the end, right? You can pay me after then. Now, my contract states that there's a deposit, right? Then after the deposit made, the day of shoot, you have to pay half of that total. After you pay half of that total, then upon receiving your final product, you would pay the rest. In this case, you have to pay the remaining of that money, right? You only paid me $500 out of $2,180. And let me do the calculation on that real quick. So 500 subtracted from $2,180. 1680 is what you wind up owing me, right? And she needs to pay this the day I step into that venue to do the recording, not at the reception, because people tend to get lost. I need my money after that. I've already committed to you. You see, I have the cameras here. You see that I need the rest of the money. Therefore, I can pay my guy that's there at the wedding, and then I can pay my guy that's there at the reception. So 1680 is what the remaining balance was. Mind you, it should have been bumped up another $500 for what all the stuff that I did. I get a call from her. This was, like I said, this was yesterday, which was Sunday. I need to scale down. Um, well, how about if we do this and do this? Everything that she asked for was the same thing I was charging her for, minus a video of the stuff that was captured before the wedding, and more to come. Now, this is after she came back from her cruise, so I don't know if she spent extra money or whatever, but I'm getting this call now, and we're sitting there talking on the phone. We talked about for a good hour, and she says that she doesn't want to do the video thing anymore. She doesn't want to do the it was like a package that I was going to give her. It was maybe like a maybe a 5-minute clip of everything that they did before the wedding, up leading up to the wedding. She wanted she wanted 2 cameras, additional handheld cameras, to document the groom getting dressed and documenting her getting ready for the wedding. So these are 2 travel cams that I was going to give them the night before or the week before, and I told them how to work it, and they were going to be like filming themselves and stuff like that. As long as it wasn't like no porno stuff, you know what I'm saying? It was fine. But they were going to film themselves the day of them getting married. So she wanted to cut that out. Mind you, I there's a certain look that I wanted. I wanted that grainy 420 480 vintage look, like it was old 8 or 3 millimeter camera, right? I was going to give them that look, and then everything was going to transition to a pretty look. The stream would have been streamed at 720p, right, at 30 frames per second. Okay, that would have been on the low because I don't know who's looking at this footage, and 1080p wouldn't be advised to stream at 60 frames per second. It may be clear for others, but a lot of people watching it on their phone may see a lot of stuttering and a lot of static and stuff like that. So, FYI, if you're streaming anything, it's best to stream at 720p at 30 frames per second. And this is what this is right now because I don't know who's looking at this. So, like I said, she went to drop everything down except for that. Mind you, a lot of this work was done. A lot of this work was done with her gathering content of them just going out to eat. And mind you, I had already started their timeline for this. So I'm taking their footage, putting it in the timeline, and editing that footage so I can later on, when I after the thing is done, because I was going to record in 4K, put it in a 1080p timeline. And if you don't know what that means, just research it. I would have had more to work with. So, mind you, I have to go through 8 hours of video. 8 hours of video, and I'm charging you something on the low for that because she wanted that after we discussed the price that I gave her, after the $2,180 price tag that I gave her. She wanted that different. She wanted that additionally. So I started to regret dealing with this lady because her and her husband, her and her fiance, I should say. I started regretting dealing with them because there were words that they were using that I was getting offended by. Now, when you tell me all you have to do is, that's offensive. Anybody doing a profession, when somebody asks you for your services and they say, all you have to do is, you're belittling or you're discounting their services because you think that it's not important. You think that all you have to do is this, that. Off topic, when I was driving box trucks from state to state, doing 1,000 miles, doing 700 miles, when people would say, all you do is just drive. All you do is just drive. You're sitting down. All you're doing is just driving from state to state. It's a lot in just driving from state to state. You're under so much pressure when you're dealing with a box truck, even semi truck drivers and stuff like that. When you're getting dispatch keep calling you, asking you, okay, where are you at? Where are you at? Especially in a box truck game where some trucks that you're driving are governed to 60 miles an hour when you're on a beltway that is 75 miles per hour is the top speed. Let me hit this to y'all. For every 50 miles that you have to go in a regular car, that takes you an hour. If you're driving in a box truck, that becomes an hour and a half for every 50 miles that you have to drive. So if you're scheduled to be there by a certain time, you have to bust your hump just to get to where you have to go. You have frequent bathroom stops because you're drinking these energy drinks just to stay up. Then you have to pull over because your time is running out. You have to follow all DOT regulations. You have to stop at these wait stations, and then you have to stop and get a diesel or DEF. So a lot of people. That's why I really don't like doing the box truck thing anymore, because they put too much on you, and they expect a lot, but they don't understand what it takes to do that. It's a lot in box truck driving: depth, fuel, time, the regulations on the speed that you have to drive, the destinations, the miles, the brakes. You get tired. You driving in a car for 12 hours. You're driving a car for 12 hours, right? And if you don't have those hydraulic seats, oh man, that is a hell of a drive, right? But getting back to what I'm saying, she wanted I'm not gonna say she, they wanted everything that I offered them to do, minus the the short video clip that was gonna take up to a year worth of footage. They wanted me to break down for 5 minutes, a year's worth of footage in 5 minutes. That takes a lot. So after she said that she didn't want that, and she was like, "Yeah, I want everything else, but just I don't want you to do the video anymore." I said, "Well, I've already done the video. I did parts of that. I'm putting in the timeline, and you know, I'm still working on that." So I was like, "Well, I've done all that work. So I mean, we have to come to some type of agreement because she was like, "Well, I've already paid you." I said, "That was a deposit for for everything that you wanted. You still owe me for the rest of the deposit." And then her husband got on the phone. She was like, "Here, let me talk to him." And he got on the phone to me and him started talking. And he says, "Well, we have to pay a caterer, we have to pay a DJ, and we want a professional photographer there. And it's just not in our budget because they charge, we got to pay them." And now I'm thinking, like, what type of wedding photographer that you get? Because I know wedding photographers, you're if you're paying under $1,500 for a wedding photographer, you're doing good. You're doing good. If it's a professional video photographer, you're doing very good for under 1,500. A DJ is about $500-$600. A caterer is about maybe $500. Let's just say even if a wedding photographer charges you $500, a caterer charge you $500, a DJ charge you $500. That's $1,500 already. So that's $1,500 that you have to spend, right? But I know DJs charge more than that. So they're looking at a hefty bill because when you get married and you have all this extravagant stuff, you're paying you're paying a pretty good money. You're paying a pretty good penny for that. So I'm thinking, okay, where is she? She's like, what are we doing here? And then she's telling me the prices that she's paying for. He's telling me the prices that they're paying for the DJ, the wedding photographer, and the caterer. Mind you, I offered them to include everything in one package, right? I have people that cater. I have people that make wedding cakes. Actually, Mike wife makes wedding cakes. She bakes cake and she's a hell of a baker. Mike C. Her wife, his wife is a hell of a caterer. Now I've asked her before to make a wedding cake for me for another event. She was like, nah, I don't do, but she makes excellent cakes. I know she can pull it off. So that was my first person that I was going to go to. Dot, can you please make, I don't care how much it costs, just tell me how much it's cost so I can put it in there so you can make the cake. I was going to ask her that if the customer would have called me back and said, yeah, okay, give me a total package. I got a couple of buddies that DJ. I would have called them. I have a person that caters. I know a professional wedding photographer that only thing, how much do you charge for that? Right? I wasn't even going to ask them for me. I was like, I'm not going to ask y'all for no discounts. How much you charge? Because you need to get paid for your services. Anybody that I hire that does what I need them to do professionally, I don't ask them for a discount. Hey man, can you give me that on the low? Can you, if they offer, that's one thing. If they don't offer, I just say, how much do you charge? I don't say, well, I need a discount. How much do you charge? So I was going to ask the photographer, the waiter, the caterer, how much do they charge so I can include it inside my price, which would have bumped it up, I'm quite sure, to what she's paying now, right? So I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, the DJ is charging this, the caterer is charging that, the photographer is charging this. I'm like, wow. I don't know if I could have got it for you cheaper than that because you wanted professional quality work done. Then she was like, well, we still want you because we already paid you. And I'm like, no, you didn't pay me. You did not pay me to do everything that you do. She was like, he was like, well, yeah, I thought the $500 was the payment. I said, no, the $500 is not the payment. Then I'm scrolling down everything that I offer them, and I was like, all these services, you wanted 4 hours of wedding video footage. You wanted 4 hours of reception footage. You wanted 3 additional cameras at your wedding, 2 additional cameras at your reception. You wanted my 3D photo booth. You wanted the VR headset. You wanted the 10-second animation that we talked about. You wanted it streamed live to your three platforms, and you wanted yeah, that was it. And I was like, I was going to give you a wedding gift with 2 wine glasses with an engraving on it of you and your wife or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was going to see which one looked the best. I was going to put that picture on it, engrave it like that. And I don't know what I was going to do with that. I know I was going to do something fancy. He was like, yeah, we want all that. We want all that. And he said, I thought you charged us $500. No, the stream did not freeze. They want me to do 12, uh, uh, 1,000. No, what was it? $2,180 worth of work for $500. with an additional charge of all the extra stuff that they want me to do. Then I got hit with this. Well, all you have to do is just record. That's not all I have to do. You want to stream live? Have you seen some of my work? Your wife's seen some of my work. You see how I can switch from camera A to camera, I'm sorry, from camera 1 to camera 2 to camera 3 to camera 4. Have you seen what I can do? I sent you a link. This is not even on Facebook, and this is not even live on YouTube. You seen what I can do? He's like, yeah, man, I love your work. I love your work, man. It was like, it looked very professional. It is professional. But you want to pay me $500 for $2,180 worth of work. I'm sorry. I cannot do that. And with my deposits, in the contract, it states that it's non-refundable. It is non-refundable. When I ask you for a deposit, it is non-refundable. That's because I run into stuff like this. Or somebody would cancel. What's up, Mark? Somebody cancels their event, or they set it for a later date. And let me tell you something. When you hire me to do a project for you, I start getting additional equipment for that particular need. And I should slap myself in the face for that. Because what I do late night Amazon shopping. I would get a mic cord. I would get an XLR cord. I would get just stuff that I would think that I would need for an event. And when that event finally comes up, I'm in panic mode. And this is real. I'm in panic mode. I'm like, oh man, I need this. I need this. Then I go back and I think, hold up, don't I have this or don't I have that? Then I search my Amazon purchase history. I was like, oh, I have that already. Sometimes I've already ordered the part that I need, and I'm like, okay, man, I just might as well go ahead and keep it. But let me tell y'all something. I have a production studio worth of equipment. I can make a full-fledged movie. I can make a Lord of the Rings. I can make a Despicable Me 4. I can make anything that you go to the movies and see with the equipment and the software that I have. The sound will be quality. The lighting will be quality. The background will be quality. The green screen will be quality. This is stuff that I've learned from years of trial and error. I've never went to school for anything that I've done. By trade, I am a computer technician. I started working on PCs. No, my history dates back to when I was small and I was broke. Now, when you're small, you're always broke. But my mother and Slim could not afford to get me video game systems. So what happened was people would throw Ataris away. People would get rid of their Ataris, and I would somehow fix them by tearing them apart and just looking at the board. For some reason, I knew how to get inside that board and look for stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know how many Ataris I fixed with. My mother used to work in the government, right? And she used to bring home paper clips and staples. And I had an iron. She had an iron, and I used to melt the staples, and I used to melt the paper clips for soldering. Don't get me. I don't know how I figured that stuff out, but I figured that stuff out, right? Fast forward to mid-teens, I started doing computer repair services. That started because of the music group that I was in. I wanted to do everything myself. I wanted to do the music production. I wanted to do video production. I wanted to do the recording. So I got equipment, and I got my first computer, which was a 486DX that had DIMM memory. I started learning how to fix that computer because the software that I was using was too slow. I could only play back one track at a time. I forgot what software I was using. Um, I can only play back one track at a time. Doing that, I learned how to fix computers. Then when I started to get into the videography, I did my research, found out that Final Cut Pro was the best program to do videography on, right? And for Final Cut Pro, you needed a Mac. Now I started getting my Mac. Things start happening on the Mac that I need to upgrade RAM and all this other stuff. Then I started to know how to work my Mac. If you know how to work PCs, you know how to work Mac. It's the same innards, but different programming, right? And a lot of Mac stuff is proprietary. So you have to deal with that. So my years, I've worked at Staples, mom and pop repair shops, uh, Comp USA, Circuit City. Um, so I've worked those tech benches there. So I've done a lot. So everything I've done, I've never went to school for. I've never went to school for computer repair, Mac repair, video editing, video filming, audio production. I never went to school for that. Now I have an electric scooter. I'm about to learn how to. I don't like cars, right? So I have 3 electric scooters now, right? Plus 2 motorcycles. I'm about to start jazzing up 2 of my electric scooters. Now I'm about to start teaching myself how to work on the electric scooters. This brain right here that y'all see is full of knowledge. I don't go to school because, number one, I can't afford it. I don't go to school to learn how to do that stuff. I learn how to do it by watching YouTube videos. Somebody's ringing my phone. I learned how to do it by watching YouTube videos and experimenting and doing stuff myself. Right? Whoever's calling, I'm about to call you. I'm about to call you back. But that's how I learn. That's how I learn how to do stuff. So with this video thing, I give you a professional product. That means that you have to pay a professional price. When I started doing video production, I started undercutting myself because I didn't know as much as I know now. I'm using Final Cut Pro still. I'm using DaVinci Resolve. I know, I can say I know 70% of both of those softwares. With new updates and new features and new plugins, you would never know for the full capacity of that software because it changes every day. I use Final Cut Pro in some instances when on some productions. Then if I'm using DaVinci Resolve on other, if I'm doing like major work, I'm using DaVinci Resolve, and I'm not talking about the free version. I got the paid version of DaVinci Resolve. I have the paid version of that. Not the free version. DaVinci Resolve is a very powerful software. So all I'm saying is that there was something that happened a couple of months ago, and I just stopped doing video production. I said, "Hey, look, man, I'm not doing this no more. I'll do the gaming show, but I'm not doing nobody else's video production at all because I'm just there was something that happened and it just turned me off from doing video production. I'm talking to my man Mark Stevenson, I'm talking to my man Michael Thompson. I'm talking to my man Mike Clark. I'm talking to my man Tyrone McCray. I'm talking texting back and forth with uh, even Tyrone Best. You know what I'm saying? These guys, stop Ace. These guys, after talking to them and texting them back and forth, they got me to get back into video production because I had stopped it for a while. I stopped it. So they got me back into it. But everybody that asks me to do something for you, note that I have professional grade A equipment. I give a professional product. When you tell me all you have to do is, what you're doing is you're really undercutting or undermining what I do. You're undermining what I do. When you say all you have to do, all you got to do is just, hey, stop now. All you have to do is just record this, or all you have to do is just edit this. Let me give you an example. An hour worth of footage, I may use maybe an equivalent of 10 minutes of that, depending on what the timeline is. But I get so much footage that I have to play with because I try to follow the storyline. Now, a friend of mine, Michelle, this is the first time that I ever heard the word treatment, right? So when I do stuff for her, she'll write me a treatment, and I'll follow the treatment to a T. I would usually say storyboard. So a storyboard for me is an outline of, okay, this happens, this happens, this happens, this. I write all that stuff down. So when I go to start editing, I look at my list, which now people call the treatment, I guess. I start looking at the treatment on my storyline, and I say, okay, this needs to go here, this needs to go there, this needs to go there. All right, boom, and I give the product. I finish the product. I send a proof. Now, the proof is mainly to tell you, hey, it's done. The proof isn't for you to tell me to make changes and this, that, and the third. The proof is to tell you that I'm done. And I'm just showing you a snippet of what's done, right? Because I don't want to go back and forth with saying, okay, do this, do that, do this. You're entrusting me of doing a project. Let me do the project. Let me do it. This is what you hired me for. Let me do it. Let me be the creative juices behind that. If you let me do it that way, then you get more out of it. Because me personally, when I do a video project for anybody, I am never satisfied with it. That is the honest to God truth. Because I go back and I look at it and I say, man, I should have did this. Man, I should have did this. With that being said, when I start editing footage for customers, I start to throw extra stuff in there. So when you get stuff from me, you get stuff in there that we never agreed upon. But I'm thinking, hey, let me throw this in here. That might jazz it up, right? And then, um, I'll show those clips to the person that they unexpected. And then sometimes they be like, nah, I don't want that. And I'm like, okay, I can respect that because you didn't ask for it anyway, but I threw it in there, right? I can respect that. But when it comes down to the bottom wire, I am the producer, I am the cameraman, I am the video editor, I am the sound engineer. All that stuff, all those hats I wear, and I do this on a solo. When I go to a production, I got to set up lights. I got to set the background. I got to set up mics. I got to set up cameras. I got to do the white balance. I have to do so much stuff, sound checks. This is one person doing a job of like 10 people, I would say. I have to take the equipment in the venue. I have to take the equipment out of the venue. This is tiring on my body. I'm a one-man show. I'm a one-man operation. 95% of the time. A one-man operation. 95% of the time. So you get quality work. Let me tell you something. When I first started video editing, I used a software called Pensicle. Y'all look that up. Pensicle. I used that to do video editing. My first camera was a Sony Handycam that had a tape. And the way that I would export the footage is by the FireWire connection. It was IEE something. So I had to sit there and watch the whole footage back before I can edit. I started editing on the PC. And then the time that it takes to render that footage so you can play through it, I would put an hour worth of footage on there, and I would have to come back an hour and a half later just for me to play it back. And depending on where I stopped it at, it would have to render again because I didn't have enough memory in the PC. That's when I ported over to Mac. And even when I started dealing with Final Cut Pro HD, when I did Final Cut Pro HD, when you cut that footage, it had to re-render it all over again. So mind you, I'm doing like low stuff, for the Outer Limits, the group that I'm in. I'm gonna say I'm in because you know what I'm saying. I still want to do one more. I still want to do one more album. Rest in peace, my man Drew, and Keith. Hopefully, we can get him back in there because Keith and I was the original members of the Outer Limits. Rest in peace, Drew, and rest in peace, B. But that's how I started with Pensicle. Then I did my research, found the JVC camera. It was between JVC and Canon. There was two camcorders I was looking at. Then I was looking at software to edit. Tried Premiere, didn't really like it. Because I got that from some my man. Then I was hearing about Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Pro. And then when I did my research on Final Cut Pro, I said, that's the software that I need. Final Cut Pro came with the editing software, came with Live Type, it came with Motion, it came with Soundtrack, it came with Compressor, it came with everything that you need to do a movie. And I'm searching for movies that was filmed and edited, that was edited with Final Cut Pro. I'm like, God dang, man, this is some powerful software. So I got the software, I got the Mac. I still didn't have a professional camera yet, because I was saving up for that. Got the camera. That led into me getting another JVC camera. A few years down the road, that's when I started getting DSLRs. I got a Canon 60D because I'm seeing people making music videos with DSLRs. Then a Canon 60D turned into three more DSLRs. And in that realm, it turned into Blackmagic cameras because I'm like, okay, I'm doing the work, but I'm not getting the quality out of it because I don't have the right cameras, right? Even though I had the JVC cameras, both of those took SD cards in it. And I still to this day haven't made my money back for either one of those cameras that I paid for. And one camera was 8,000, one camera was 2,000. Roughly there in that change, right? 3cc camera. Fast forward years later, I got the Blackmagic cameras, right? And that cost me a pretty good penny. Have the 4K, the 6K, and the G2. All right. Then my GoPro cameras, got those. And I use those for like car scenes um, and then I get a lot of equipment, cranes, stabilizers, uh, panning stuff. I mean, just everything that you need to make a full-fledged movie, right? And when I'm doing stuff for customers, a lot of this stuff I bring, depending on what type of shoot that I want to do. So I'm giving the customer more than what they're charging for, more than what they're paying for. And with this wedding had opened my eyes up to how people want a professional product, but they want to pay you pennies for it, but then want more than what they're even paying for. I cannot do that. I'm not doing that. I give a professional product, therefore, you pay accordingly, as the title says. Am I wrong for turning down the $2,180? I really need that right now, right? I really do. I really do. I can't accept $500 for that to make a profit of like $100 for all the stuff that I've done and the payouts that I need to do. I need to rent a van, an additional van for a person to drive to one spot and stay there and set up. How much how much do you think that's going to cost for me to hire a U-Haul truck, have one person to unload it, or he probably get his mans to help him unload the truck with the stuff? And I'm not going to say all he has to do is to unload the truck. This person, whoever I was going to hire, was going to have to put in some real physical labor. And I understand that. And I have to, that has to be according. They have to set up the cameras at the spots that I tell them to set it up at. And they have to be the cameraman. Or they have to be the production, the editor on the ATEM switch. Either or. So I cannot, I I'm not gonna say I cannot. I'm not going to give you a professional product and you pay me pennies of what you want. And then you want more than what you paying for. Okay. Your favorite thing to do, whatever it is, do you always ask for a discount for that? When you go out, do you always attempt to ask for a discount for that? You go out to the Cheesecake Factory. Hey, can I get a discount? I mean, if the food is terrible or something happened, yeah, of course. I've done that. If I don't get excellent service, that's why I don't go to the sugar factory anymore, because they give you piss poor service and they also include the tip. I don't like I don't like places that include the tip, because you're gonna have to work for the tip. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to work for that tip, because when you go to places where the tip is already included, they're gonna treat you like whatever. Off topic again. I took my mother's out for Mother's Day to some place out in Waldorf, and it was a seafood place, right? But the waiter and the waitresses was supposed to come to us. We had to get up and get our own food. We had to get up and get our own drinks. It was some seafood place that's in not La Plata, but Crofton, because Blue Dolphin was packed. We couldn't get inside Blue Dolphin, so there was some crab place. But we had to get all our stuff ourselves. And then when we got the bill, I'm looking at it's a tip in here. What did you do? It was, I forgot how much it was, but it was really expensive. You what? I'm paying you for telling me to go get my food? Man, I wish I knew the name of that restaurant because I put them on blast, man. But you had to go up to the counter to get your own food. If you ordered anything else, you had to flag down somebody that your waitress that never came. Never. She sat you down, took your order, and then disappeared. But that was supposed to be your waitress for the whole time. That's all she did was take the order. Never came back. Never. We had to get our own drinks. There was a drink fountain right there, and there was a pickup window or whatever. But it was a sit-down establishment. But I'm sorry, I got off track. But I say this to say that $2,100, which I need so badly right now, right? I could use that money. I could use that money right now. $2,100 I have to turn down. Well, I turned down because I'm not giving you $2,100 of service for $500. When I've already done over $500 worth of, mind you, I've been doing this wedding stuff since as early as February. I've been getting this couple stuff since February and putting it into this timeline, editing this footage, doing extra stuff for them. That's well over what I'm charging them. That wasn't even in the original charge. That came back after like a month or so after we agreed on the $2,180. That came back after that. I'm just telling y'all, man. I do professional work. I give you a professional product. If you want to hire me, you hire me because you know what I do. You know the quality type of work that I do. Don't hire me and expect me to give you bells and whistles when you just want to pay for finger snaps. That's not how it works. And don't tell me all you have to do is. That is offensive to me. All you have to do is record. That's not all I got to do. You forgot about me setting up. You forgot about me miking you up. You forgot in this instance with the wedding, I didn't have to do any type of lighting because I was going to use natural lighting that they had, right? Didn't need lighting. All you have to do is edit. Well, let me tell you something. If you want 5 minutes of footage, first of all, I'm dealing with almost a year of footage that I have to scrub through that I'm currently was working on. Then I have to deal with 8 hours, 4 hours of wedding footage, 4 hours of receptional footage. I have to deal with all of that in a 5-minute video that you're requesting. That takes a lot of work. It's not just sitting down editing. I'm just scrubbing through footage. I'm scrubbing through 8 hours and a year worth of footage that you want me to put in 5 minutes. Plus with all the extra bells and whistles that you did not agree to pay for. I am a professional videographer. I'm a professional editor. I should be paid accordingly. Animation. Do you know how much animation costs? A 1 minute of animation, of Pixar style animation, will cost you in the grands, 10 grand, 20 grand to be exact. So everything I do is on a top notch. This is me turning on, going inside my studio, turning on my Mac to edit footage, which drains power. Power I have to pay for in this house. Behind a mortgage that I have to pay to stay under a roof. To buy food so I can keep energy to pay to edit this footage. When I edit footage, y'all, I treat it like an 8-hour day because I get burnt out. So whenever I'm editing footage, I don't answer the phone. I don't take calls. I treat it like an 8-hour day. I put 8 hours into it. Any time over 8 hours, I get burned out. I'll take a 30-minute break. I'll come back in and treat it like 8 hours. Now, some editors charge by the hour to edit by the hour. I don't do that, which I'm thinking about starting to do now because people don't appreciate a lot of people don't appreciate what I do. They want this extravagant production, but don't want to pay for it. I'm not losing money on account of you don't want to pay for it, but you want all this professionalism. That's not what I do. This wedding has really opened up my eyes because I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking about everything. Yesterday I was so pissed. So pissed. I'm just thinking about everything that I've done for every customer, every paying customer. And I'm thinking I gave a lot of services away. And look at where I'm at financially. Gave a lot of services away. And some shoots, I wind up paying more than what I charge the customer for the work that I've done. That stops yesterday. Not doing that anymore. If you want to hire me, you're going to pay that price. Bottom line. You want a professional product? You're going to have to pay for a professional product. End this story. That's in the story. I don't want this to come off disrespectful. If if you have a business yourself or a side hustle or whatever it's called, you understand where I'm coming from. You don't want to be in a hole on a project. You want some type of you want some type of profit. So until you can do the next project better than what you did before. I want to, if you look at the work that I've done, you see it going up. If it was on a graphical chart, the way that I do stuff, the out the I've done is professional, right? Quality. Quality is the key. But I'm just tired of selling myself short. I'm tired of giving people the maximum and they're paying the minimum. And this is stuff that we agreed upon, right? I do this professionally, not on a larger scale as a Tyler Perry or a the guy that did Avatar, or anybody else that does production work. I'm not on that scale, but if you look at the quality type of work that I do, pay me for it. Because I have bills that I have to pay. And right now I am not in the position where I can say, okay, I can charge you this just to get the job. I'd rather get no money at all than to get the money. You understand what I'm saying? I'd rather not do the job and not get paid instead of doing the job and still not getting paid. Because at the end of the day, you got to think of, I had to drive here, I had to put gas in the car, I had to go home and edit this thing. By the time I do all of that, where's my profit? And I got to pay a bill. Right now, this money that I'm making off of doing the stuff that I'm doing for clients, that's going towards bills. That ain't going to the next pair of Jordans. That ain't going to the next pair of New Balances. Well, I don't rock Jordans. That's not going to the next pair of New Balances. That's not going to the next pair of glasses frames that I get, designer frames I get to put prescriptions in them. It's not going to that. It's going to a light bill, a water bill, more importantly, a mortgage. If you don't understand that, then there's nothing that I can do. I'm standing on ground with this. I'm standing my ground with this. You want a professional product, but you don't want to pay a professional price. Everybody that wear designer clothes, raise your hands. Raise your hands. Everybody that wear designer anything, raise your hands. Everybody that wears anything, just raise your hands. Okay. Especially with designer stuff. Do you go in to the Ralph Lauren store and say, man, you know, can you take $20 off, man? Because I gotta get some boots, I gotta get some pants, and you want to pay more for that stuff. You going to pay the market price for that stuff, but you don't want to pay for this. And I hate to say it, but I'm gonna keep it real. This happens primarily in the black community because the black community, we don't want to stick together. We don't want to further each other, right? A lot of us blacks always want to be on get over because they don't want to pay the price. But when we go into Ralph Lauren, or we go into Foot Locker, or we go into fancy restaurants, we pay that bill. We pay that bill. When they send us that bill or that check, we pay that check. You deal with a black person, a black business owner, it's always, man, well, can you do, can I, it's always some excuses why you don't want to pay market price. If you go to the white dude, they tell you, hey, it's going to be XYZ. Okay. All right. Let me ask you, people that go on these cruises, right? When you book these cruises and they tell you that, okay, you get this and you get unlimited drinks and you get unlimited that and it's going to be this, that, and the third, right? Per person. Do you tell them, well, I gotta pay for my flight, I gotta pay for this, that, and the third, and I want to bring back some duty-free liquor, and I want to go shopping. Can I pay you? Okay, the ticket is $1,500. Can I pay you $200? And you want all the amenities? Do you do that? Do you do that to the white folks? No, you want to do that to the black people. You want to do that to me. You want to do that to somebody that's struggling, that's trying to, you know what I'm saying, get their business going. You want to do that to that person. You know, it's I tell you one more thing, and then I'm gonna get off here because I've been on here too long. There was a particular friend that I had, right? I'm gonna tell you this story, and she may watch this. I really don't give a damn, right? But there was a particular friend that that was my best friend. We used to work together, right? And I've always treated her like a sister. I never tried to get no cheeks from her, nothing like that. She came in to the spot that I was working at, and we just had a friendship, right? Good friendship, good friendship. And I'm not talking about dog car either. I I would say Thumbelina. Everybody know who I'm talking about. Thumbelina. Me and Thumbelina, I thought that we was close. I used to go to her with my female problems at that time. I'm like, man, surely this, that, and the third. And she would be somebody that I can talk to, right? Among other female friends that I had that I can talk to. All right. We had a falling out because she shouldn't have never gave her dude my number because I popped up over her house one day. I'm trying to get in contact with her. Um, to like what's going on. This is during like a little bit after COVID and stuff like that. And her dude called me up talking about popping up over my house. First of all, you living in her house. I've been with her through what, 3 or 4 boyfriends. So don't call my phone anyway talking about this, that, and the third. I never tried to get the cheeks. And I told him next time that you call, I'm gonna pull up for you because that really ticked me off. Um, so I used to do her birthday party every year. She used to have a birthday party in the backyard, and I used to bring, a backdrop, and she let me charge for pictures, right? So people would come back there, and I would take pictures. You know what I'm saying? Charge them, club prices, 5 for this, that, whatever, whatever. Um, it was one year, finished setting up everything, and the thing is that when I dealt with her professional. We weren't friends for those amount of hours that I did, and also she had took when she was dating this one dude that we all used to work together. She had did a birthday party for him, and she had me film that. So she used to use me quite a bit, and then I did a girls' night out photo shoot for her. Um, Again, I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not, especially not a professional videographer. I mean, professional wedding photographer. Professional everything else. But so I'm setting up in the backyard. People are starting to come in because a lot of people came to Thumbelina's party, right? So first customer, mind you, I ain't make no money yet. I'm printing out 4x7s or 5x7s or 5x8s or something like 4x7s and giving them, putting them in the picture frames, giving it to them. This African dude comes up to me with his old lady, and I got the prices right there. He was like, "Hey, come on, man. I'll give you this, that. You're not going to tell me what prices that you're not going to tell me what you're going to pay me, first of all, to get a service from me." I said, "Hey, look, man." I said, "This your first year here?" He was like, "Yeah, my girl." And it's like, well, and I told him verbatim, I said, "Get the F away from me. Don't come back. I don't want your business." He was like, "What?" I said, "Dude, I haven't even made one dime yet. And you're the first person that come up to me and you want a discount already? It ain't even half the night yet. It ain't even gone. I can see, but I didn't get." And then all the co-workers that I worked with, they'll testify to you this too. "Hey man, can I get a discount?" "No, you can't get no discount. It's whatever for that picture. Point blank." First dude, not made one single dime. And he wants a discount from me. Man, I told him to kick rocks explicitly. I said, "I don't even want your business. I don't even want your business." That whole night, He tried to come and take a picture with me. He tried to get me to take a picture. I said, nah, no, I don't want your business. I don't want your business. The night was over and people were leaving. He came up to me and apologized. He offered me $20 to take his picture. Right? I made some pretty good money. He wanted one picture for that $20. Do you think I took it? No. I stood on principle. And he respected me for that. Because if I would have took that $20 and gave him that picture, yes, I could have made a large profit, but my integrity would have went out the window. Professional cameraman, point and shoot and print it out. That next year that I seen him at Thumbelina's party, he came up to me. He was like, "Man, I'm sorry. How much for the pictures?" By that time, you learned your lesson. And then, he paid me what I asked for, and he got his pictures. And he took a couple of pictures that night. You know why? Because he respected what I did. He had to learn a lesson. He had to respect what I did. And that's fast forward to a couple of years later. These people will respect what I did. Now, me and him, the guy that I'm supposed to do the wedding for, I said, I'm sending you what I've done so far. And that's the end of the contract. And my contract, when I do write a contract, it states that the $500 is non-refundable for these different reasons. So altogether, I have maybe 3 months of footage that I've put in the timeline, and I've already edited. So it's about like maybe like a minute and a half for well over 3 months of footage that I've chopped down, and I've done so much work on. And I said, I'm gonna close the contract out. I'm gonna give you everything that I've done, and then it's gonna be the end of that, because I cannot afford to do everything that you want me to do for $500. I said, plus I've done over $500 worth of a video for you, right? Went out to dinner with these people twice, and I paid for my own meal. I paid for my own meal. Went out with them twice, got footage, and paid for it with my own money. Took my camera equipment out there, filmed them while they were on 2 dates, 2 different restaurants. Included that footage. Now all of a sudden, they don't want to pay for everything that I was willing to do. Everything that they contractually signed for. So I said, because the $500 is gone. The $500 is gone. That went to bills, and that went to other stuff. And I'm still in the negative, because my thing was $500. I'm just editing footage right now, but it just became too much. It became too much. They're sending me this. They're sending me that. I'm gonna have to downloading footage that they sent me. They're asking me to go out because they want a camera guy while they're sitting down. They don't want to have to keep asking somebody else to do this stuff. And I'm like, the sound is choppy. They're not recording it in a way that I would record it. Now, when I'm recording, I'm miking them up so I can get clear, clean audio. And then just to match the scenario, I'm taking out the same camera that I was going to give them, but I'm miking them up. And they looking like they superstars inside this restaurant because they got a guy filming and I'm sitting up there ordering food. I don't order a lot of food, you know what I'm saying? I'll order appetizer and the main course. And I don't expect them to pay for that. First of all, I don't expect them to pay for that. Right? I'll pay for it myself. But just the notion that they didn't pay for it, I'm out there doing that service for you and you don't pay for the food. And my food I wasn't ordering anything extravagant. I was ordering, like a hamburger and some fries and just appetizer of some wings. You know what I'm saying? That my bill came up to less than $15. But I should have known something the first time that I paid because I wasn't even looking for them to pay the bill the first time. Okay, yeah. But they didn't pay the bill. Um so um that was yesterday. This morning, um, he called me briefly, and he said, "Okay, I see the work that you did because I gave him all that footage, everything that they sent me. I gave it back to him, and it was I don't know how long because it took me basically all night because after it took me all day yesterday, and by the time that I uploaded the footage and sent it to YouTube." And I told them, I was like, okay, this is how you download this footage. I showed them, gave them a link. They liked what I gave them so far. And this was stuff that they just recorded and some of the stuff that I recorded. And they liked the way that the timeline was. I gave it to him. And he was like, oh, yeah, I like that, man. He was like, okay, I'm sorry, but we just can't afford you right now because we got to pay everybody else. Say, okay, fine, no problem, man. Y'all, y'all can have the footage. Okay, $500 is not non-refundable. Plus, it's already gone. All right, because you committed it to that date, and there's nothing more that I can do about that. So this is where I'm at. You can't expect a professional product, and you don't want to pay for it. I don't. I honestly don't know what to say. Else to say, but I I appreciate. What's up, Sam? Hey, what's up? What's up, Rasta? Um, I appreciate everybody that I've done work for so far. The 360 video booth is picking up. It's not picking up as fast as I wanted, but I do have a couple of dates that I'm booked for, and that is taking off. But not as rapidly as I would hope for. I would eventually want to get two 360 photo booths, so I could do two locations at once. Um, and with that, I'm gonna have to hire somebody to go set it up and run it. Um, Most of the time, it's unmanned. Like yesterday, I had a 360 job, and this was done outside. It did rain real heavily, um, but I was under a tent, and my customer was like, "Yeah, it is going to rain tomorrow, so just bring a tent." And I was able to do that, and they enjoyed it. They enjoyed that 360 footage. I posted something on Facebook if you want to go take a look at that. And uh, also, I want to thank Bebe too. Um, so uh, I don't know what else to say. I am distraught because I don't know if that's a word or not, but it sounds appropriate at this in particular time. But I am amazed at what I do that people want but don't want to pay for. Okay. And to really hit it home, it's as simple as this. You go to the grocery store, you pick up, you get like 6 lobsters. You get 6 lobsters. You get bologna, cheese, and bread. You go up to the cashier and you say, "Hey, don't ring all these lobsters up because I got to pay for the bologna, cheese, and the bread. Like I got to eat. Take the lobsters back, put them back in the tank. If you can only afford the bologna, cheese, and the bread, don't try to buy 6 lobsters." Again, if you cannot afford the 6 lobsters and you have 6 lobsters, bologna, cheese, and the bread, you can't afford the 6 lobsters, put them back and just get the bologna, cheese, and bread. Fix you a sandwich. I like bologna. I I fry it up in a frying pan. I wait till that bubble come in the middle. I hit the spatula with it, slice that thing, bring it back down, flip it over, sizzle the other side, make me some toast, put some cheese on it, spread some mayonnaise on it, and I have me a good old time with my bologna and cheese sandwich. I ain't ashamed. So I'm gonna let this. I'm gonna let this go because I'm working. I'm actually working on a. I'm working on a documentary. Well, I will be working on a documentary soon with my man Keith, um, and Mr. Rice, Mrs. Rice, um, and a couple of other people. I'm really excited about that. This documentary, we're trying to get it on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. Well, we're trying to get it on Netflix, uh, Tubi, and a couple of other streamers out, Amazon. Um, so I'm excited about working on this project. It hasn't started yet, but I'm in preparations to do it. So I don't want to sound mean or I don't want to sound like I'm all that. All I'm saying is that if you want a professional product from me, Yeah, you have to pay the price. That's it. You know what my reels look like, especially if you've been dealing with me before. I can't. I'm not even going to say I can see a new person, but this couple that wanted this wedding done, they saw things that I was doing. They saw for the first time they saw um something I did for building bridges. When I did that and I posted that 360 video, they oh man, they were so excited. This was a couple of months ago, a while back ago. I would say a couple of weeks ago or something like that. They were so excited about that building bridge footage, that 360 footage. When they saw, if you go into the Facebook timeline and you see how I have it all set up with the LED lights, and they were so excited. Oh, can we get that? And can we get that? And can we get this, that, and the third? You don't have to ask me for it because that's what I was going to bring anyway, right? So they was happy and excited about that, but they were just making too many demands and too many changes. And then all of a sudden now, you want all of that work done for $500. You want my VR system. You want my 360. You want it stream to all three of your platforms. You want hours done, one at a wedding and one at a reception. You want all this stuff done, but you just want to pay $500. And if you read the contract, it says how much the total was, how much the deposit was, how much is needed at the start of the production. Now I can bring the equipment in, I can start setting it up, but you need to pay me before any of these cameras go on. I'll tell you one more story. I'm sorry, but I did have a customer that did not believe what I said and took their time with me. There was a convention that I did, and I live streamed it on their social media platforms. And I'm bringing in the equipment and I'm setting up. Now this is an unmanned thing. I already got the cameras positioned. Only thing I need to do is just go to the ATEM switcher and switch back and forth. The event started, and when I'm bringing in equipment, I was like, okay, so are y'all? Who has the rest of the payment? Who has the final payment? She's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you. I gotta do this, then, and the third. Totally forgot about me. Was at the panel talking, and she's looking at her phone. And I'm like, I know what she's doing. She looking at her. She trying to look at the stream. She comes back to me and she says, "Oh, you haven't started yet?" I said, "No." I said, "The contract says that you have to pay me before I um, start the thing. You know what I'm saying? To start the stream, because I don't want me to start the stream and do all this stuff out, and then somebody runs out and don't pay me. They already got the work done. Just like when I do my 360, I ask for that payment up front. When I'm finished setting up that 360 and you see that first spin, I expect somebody to come out and give me the what I've asked for, that drop them three bills. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll let it slide. It's depending on the person. Sometimes I'll let it slide. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, I need that I need you to drop them three bills. You know what I'm saying? Um, and in this case, 10 minutes went past and she did not I did not go live. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't here. What's your cash app?" As soon as I heard that ding on OBS, I clicked go live. Now I had a whole introduction for her. I had all this stuff for her, but a lot of that stuff she missed out. And then at the end of the night, she apologized Plus, she gave me a nice, huge tip. A nice, huge tip. Right. So, and then I was getting clients after that. And I think, and this is like through a circle of her friends. And um, I remember I did her friends thing, and she paid me immediately. Like, oh, here you go. Here you go. So I guess I have a reputation that, okay, pay that man because his work is good, right? So I'm trying to broaden that reputation because my work is good. You know, it's professional, it's good quality, it's everything that a person asks for. The only thing I ask for you to do is pay me for my time, pay me for my work, pay me for my services. Sometimes this is a four-man show, and I have to budget that to pay somebody else. So sometimes my profit is not as much as what I would want it to be because I have to pay somebody else. So all that to say, he understood. I think she may be pissed off. Um, but that's just the way it goes. I can't afford to do professional work at a discounted price. If you want quality, pay for quality. If you don't want certain stuff, then you'll pay accordingly. You know, but my minimum starts. You have that hour. I don't break it down to 30 minutes or 10 minutes. You have me for that hour. You better use whatever you need to use for that hour. After that hour is up, I am done. I'm contractually done. I'm done. Because now you're getting more than what you paid for. You can't ask me to do something for a certain amount of time and then it goes over that time and you want more. I can't afford to do that. No business can afford to do that. I am a small black business owner. A very, very small black business owner that's just trying to make it. I give you a professional product. I demand to be paid for equally. It seems like us black folks don't want to pay for quality product. They always want to pay for a discounted product, but they want all this professionalism at the end of the day. I'm not doing that. My proof is in the videos that I do for clients. My proof is in the history. If you have dealt with me in the past, that's my proof. I shouldn't have to prove nothing else no more to you what I can do. All right. But again, I'm about to cut this thing off. And if you got offended, but I want to thank everybody that joined, that watched on YouTube and on Facebook. I want to thank you for all the customers that I've dealt with in the past. I especially want to thank you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do what I love to do. I appreciate that. And for any new client, just note that you're getting a professional product. That's why you're paying that price. Anybody that want animation services done, I just recommend you to see what the price of animation is. Look up animation per second, and then you see what I charge, and then you see what they charge. And I think I'm gonna start bumping my stuff up to what they charge, or even 50% of what they charge, because animation takes a lot of work. It's a You just don't know how much work it takes for animation. You don't know how much work it takes to do an animation. And when you request that service and you don't want to pay for it, you honestly don't know. And to want a Pixar or whatever Pixar style type animation, you don't know what that goes into that. I am not a big budget studio, although I have the equipment to be one. I can rent out a building right now and have it packed with video editing equipment, and I can charge yin yang prices. I can do a live production. I have the equipment to do that. I have all that equipment to do that. There's no live production that you can request from me that I can say that I can't do that because I don't have the equipment. There's nothing that you can ask me to do, hire me to do, and I tell you I don't have that equipment. So I'm just going to end it right now. Okay. Um, I do a professional job. I give you a professional product. I should be paid accordingly. If you don't like it, then go somewhere else. It's just as simple as that. I'm not I'm not in the market to be a charitable person. I'm sorry. I don't have that luxury to be a charitable person for your wedding, your birthday party, or any other event that you want to be captured. I don't have that luxury. And even if I did, I still wouldn't do it because you do not give a a a professional product and then you pay minimum on it. That's like you going to buy a polo shirt and you saying, okay, I don't want to pay the $80. Can I pay you $10 and you just take the horse off? You want to the shirt costs. Oh man, that was a great scenario. The shirt costs you $90. You want to pay you want to pay $70. Just take the horse off. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You want to go in the grocery store and you want to buy bologna, cheese bread, and 6 lobsters. And you get up to the counter and you say, hey, man, I can't afford that. I got to buy this bologna, cheese, and bread. Like, man, give me a discount, bro. Don't get them lobsters if you can't afford them. Eat a bologna and cheese sandwich. I'm telling you, you don't know how to make bologna and cheese, put that sucker in the frying pan, wait for that bubble to come up in the middle, slice that bubble down, press that thing down, flip it over, press it down again, let that toaster pop, take that bread out, put some mayonnaise on it, put some cheese on it, put one cheese on the bottom, one cheese on the top. Bologna and cheese sandwich with mayonnaise on it. Ain't nothing like it, brother. All right. So that's that. Now, tell me, please comment on Facebook or YouTube. Am I wrong for turning this couple down for not doing their video production services? And if you look at the description, you see everything that they wanted and everything that I charged. They wanted everything for $500. At the end of the day, they wanted me to do everything for $500 plus stuff that was already taken care of that I never charged for. They wanted that. Tell me I'm wrong. Please, somebody tell me that I'm wrong. All right. Thank you all for watching. I got 4 dogs that I have to watch. Walk. Come here, Ace. You want to be a star? There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. There you go. There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. Hey, he he think he the toughest because he got 3 pit bulls. He oh oh he's such a dog. He's such a little pretty dog. He's such a pretty little dog. He's such a pretty little dog. You're such a handsome boy. 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 All right. Um. Also, people that ride e-scooters, me and Ace, come here, boy. Me and Ace about to start our own Eat Scoot club, man. So if y'all want to join, you gotta have a e-scooter that does at least 40 miles an hour, and you gotta have somebody just as adorable as this little boy right here, this little man, you hear him? This little man, this little man, pretty little boy, you're a pretty little man. Oh, 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 you give me kisses. Oh, thank you, pretty little boy, pretty little boy. All right, that's me. All right, y'all. Say goodbye, Ace. Oh, god damn, man, my face. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. All right. I gotta go walk them. All right, y'all. Thank you. But if I'm wrong for turning down $2,180 or not doing, I think I may have titled the stream wrong. If I'm wrong for not doing $2,180 worth of work for only $500, am I wrong for saying no? Please let me know. Facebook, YouTube, whoever this, whoever sees this, please comment. Please tell me. Please share it. I know y'all not gonna watch this whole video, but just in the comments, am I wrong? Am I wrong? And I really need that money, bro. Am I wrong? But all right. Like I said, I gotta go walk my dogs. And y'all want to know my dogs' names? Please say them right. I'm gonna give you all my dogs' names. I got one dog named Sade. I have one dog called White Girl, or it's the White Girl. I have one dog that's called Cocaine. And come here, Ace. You know how black people like to shorten people words. His name is Damn It Ace. That's what his name is. It's Damn It Ace. Because he always doing something. I'm like, damn it, Ace. He always my girl is in heat right now, so that's why I'm keeping him separated. He's trying to hump a pit bull, and the pit bull is letting him hump him. So y'all figure that one out. But it's Damn It Ace, Cocaine, The White Girl, and Sade. Those are my 4 dogs' names. All right. So, all right. Later.